Hey guys, I'm going to show you the Necro build I've been working on. It's the Minion Master build. I've tried several different things for the Necro class, and honestly this class is really underpowered. It's probably the weakest in the game right now, though I haven't investigated the Elementalist too much, so I think those two are fighting for the bottom two, unfortunately. However, the Necro Minion Master is actually somewhat effective, and is the strongest thing I could come up with. It's a pretty obvious build, like there's certain traits that you want and you just get them and that's it. Like you have a Minion Master build, but I'm going to show you anyways. So first, the skills. I'm using what I consider to be the best minions, all 5 of them. So I have the Flesh Golem, the Bone Fiend, Shadow Fiend, the Flesh Worm, and Blood Fiend. So let's talk a little bit about these. The Flesh Golem attacks once a second for about 800 damage, and that's 800 DPS. That's pretty good. He cripples every time he hits, and you have an activated ability that will knock down your opponent. So that's pretty good because you want to follow up with an Immobilize from your Bone Fiend. So you want, it's really easy for this attack to miss. So if you time it so that it will hit after the knockdown from the Flesh Golem, it's a pretty good combo, right? It's a longer stun, and I like that they did this. I like that the minions, you know, you don't just cast them once and forget about them. You can actually use their abilities. That's pretty interesting. The Bone Fiend hits for very little damage most of the time. However, every 10 seconds it does a really big hit for like, I don't know, maybe 1,000 damage, where it does a cripple as well. The Shadow Fiend hits pretty hard. It's about 500 damage every second. And also you have the option of doing a blind attack with him, which is pretty sweet. And finally I got the Flesh Worm. I got this because the activated ability is actually a teleport that also breaks stun, so it's a panic button. And in the meantime, it has a range 1200 attack, which is very long, and does decent damage. It's easy to miss or whatever, but it's not the main reason why it's here. You almost always want to have at least one stun break on your characters, and a minion that breaks stun, that's exactly what I want. Finally, we have the Blood Fiend. It's pretty good, I'd say. It's every time it attacks, it's going to heal you, and you can also sacrifice it to get a bigger chunk of healing in. So you're going to have an army of minions with this build. So let me show you my traits, and you'll see what I meant with the obvious setup. So in the Spite line, I went for 30% increased minion damage. I mean, that seems pretty obvious, right? And I also went with Death Embrace, 50% more damage while downed, and I think this is actually good in this build for 2 reasons. First, the Necro is weak, so I mean, get used to dying. So doing a little bit more damage while you're downed, surprisingly enough, actually saves your life, because there's the Necro attack heals you as you're attacking, so you're going to be healing quite a bit and killing people while you're downed, and you can always win a down fight because you're going to have your minions up, and you're going to have you know, you're doing damage to them while healing yourself. So if say you're in a one-on-one situation, he kills you, that's fine. You fear him out and then hit him. He's going to get downed, you know, assuming it was close or whatever. And this will actually allow you to win that fight that you should have lost. It's the other reason why I picked this is because all the other options here are not terribly exciting. None of these do very much. Maybe this Life Blast might, but I don't really do that. I like to go into the Death Shroud and use the Fear, use the Life Transfer. Sometimes I'll use the Chill attack as well, but then I'm popping out unless I'm in there to just soak up damage. But I like to go in and out, use the skills and get out, not, you know, waste too much of my life force if I can help it. Alright, and then I'm going into Death Magic for 50% more health on my minions, and minions recharge faster. So far following the minion strategy pretty closely here. And then I have minions draw conditions. I think this is really good because they can actually draw conditions from anyone in your party. So they're constantly pulling in conditions from everyone in your group to themselves. And I mean, who cares about a minion, right? Like, it's a really good way of getting rid of those conditions. It's very effective condition removal. I also got minion siphon health. So every time they attack, you're going to heal for 79 health, which is quite a bit actually. Let's see, we're hitting, this is going to hit about once a second, once a second, once a second. So probably around 300 health per second. That's you know, substantial. That's it's a good healing. Also, I got the siphoning health more effective, so I think maybe that 7 9 includes this or not. I'm actually not sure right now. But so the idea here is that I'm also going to be using other skills that benefit from siphoning health. So I'm using a weapon combo of dagger with a horn, which is this set here. And this life siphon is very effective. It's going to heal you for 300 a second. Actually, no, faster than that, sorry. It heals you for almost 3,000 over 2 seconds. So that's pretty good. Helps you win the 1 versus 1 fight quite often. And I also picked up the horn, mostly for the swiftness that I get from Locust Swarm. This really helps you when you have some sort of melee character chasing you around, because then when you pop this, you're fast and he's crippled, so you're out of there, right? It's helpful. The thing about this build and the Necro class entirely is that you want to be playing defensively. You're going to be concerned about surviving. Don't worry too much about killing the other guy. Remember, your class is underpowered, so you can't just decide, oh, I'm going to kill you. That's not how it works. What you got to do is create like a trap kind of situation where you're surviving while your minions are killing the other guy. I mean, obviously you're going to attack. You're going to do, you know, sometimes you're going to, say you knock him down with your flesh golem. Go in there and hit him a few times with your dagger. But don't try to just trade blows. You want to be surviving and letting the minions do the work for you, because they'll be doing quite a bit of damage and healing you at the same time. So if you can, the longer you can prolong the fight, the better your chances of winning. And for my second weapon set, I brought the staff. I really like these marks. They're kind of like traps. You just put them on the ground and then you can swap out of the set. This one is the only fear that you actually have access to other than you go in as Death Shroud. And you also chill, do some nasty stuff here. So if you can just, you can put them all on top of each other and basically bait them in, you know, come get you or whatever. The chill from one of these is pretty effective except against rogues. I find that most rogues nowadays are using a Heartseeker build. I'm actually going to post a video about that later. But chill does nothing against rogues, and that's really sad because it sounds like something that would be amazing against a melee class, right? But why does it do nothing? First, the main attack they're going to be using automatically teleports to you. You know, it's a jump attack every time. And second, rogues don't have recharge rate. So I really think that they should add another line to this chill trait condition to make it like reduce their initiative regain or something. It just makes no sense that the rogue is not affected by one of the conditions, you know? That's just my idea. But okay, so those are my skills and my traits. I'm using the ogre runes on my armor so I have a chance to pop the rock dog. The rock dog is pretty sweet. He attacks for like 1,000 damage. And just having one more thing out there, one more minion, is a great idea, I think. I'm using the soldier's amulet, so I'm going to have really high vitality. As you can see, I have a good amount of health, and this is only half of it, right? Because you keep going into Death Shroud form to soak up more damage. And I also have quite a bit of toughness, as you can see, 1860. So I take very little damage. Conditions are being spread through the minions. I have quite a bit of healing in. Now the big part that I'm missing is the direct damage I do have quite a bit of power, as you can see, but no crit. And I've designed it this way, though. You can't have everything, right? I want it to be as survivable as possible. I feel like I have better results when I'm just surviving and letting the minions do the work than when I'm actively trying to chase people down and kill them. So this is good to maybe hold a point or fight in a group. The messier the fight is, the better it is for you, because the minions don't care. They're just doing their thing, and they're making it even messier for the other team. So finally, also my runes, I'm using leeching on one on each set. Now, one thing I found out, all these runes that say next attack after swapping, right? There's quite a few of them, like intelligence, so guarantees a crit or whatever. So you can only have one of those. If you have, say, intelligence plus leeching, only one of the effects is going to trigger. So that's actually kind of sucks, because none of the runes on the weapon runes are really good for this build, because most of the good ones rely on having a crit. And with 4% crit, that's not going to happen, right? So I had to put in a second rune here that I don't think is very good. It's giving me 10 power. Actually, it's 50 power. You get 5 stacks when you kill a player, or anything else in PvP for that matter. You get 5 stacks. So the reason why I wanted this is because it's the only rune that actually affects my minions. Like, for example, the 5% damage, that's only your skills. But if you actually increase your power, then the minions will get stronger as well. That's exactly what you want. So you could also get a second dagger and put it in your bags. Once you stack it up to 25, you can actually unequip this dagger and put the other one in, and you get to keep the stacks until you get down. So that's kind of strong. I try to do this in builds when I can, but I think this is a better spot for it because none of the other runes were really good. So I think that about covers it. If you have any questions, just drop a comment, and I'll get to it when I can. See you next video.